Who says drinking's not good for you?
A pint of beer's about $14 in Melbourne these days, so a free one helps to stretch anyone's budget.
Melbourne publican Tom Streater was offering free pints to vaccinated patrons until the health regulator stepped in.
They rang us up and they directed us towards a part of their website that outlines the do's and don'ts of promoting the COVID vaccine.
A pub with no free beer causing a rare outpouring of political bipartisanship.
I think this is a bit heavy-handed. The national interest is to get vaccinated.
If PA's suggestion of a beer is going to help as part of that, then good on PA.
Although sourcing vaccine rather than being rewarded for it is still the main game.
Please do not think that the New South Wales government thinks we can live with this when our rate of vaccination is only at 9%.
The New South Wales Premier insistent that surging COVID cases in Sydney's southwest left her no alternative but extended lockdown.
It was always known at this time of the year that we would still be in the suppression phase.
If Scott Morrison's spin was a vaccine, we'd be sitting pretty.
By year's end, Australia will receive 40 million Pfizer doses, the bulk in the final quarter, although delivery is speeding up. In June, about 1.7 million Pfizer doses were delivered. That's expected to increase to 2.8 million this month, rising to 4.5 million in August, a ramp-up in supply about a month ahead of schedule, which means under 40s might be able to receive the Pfizer jab a bit sooner.
Right now, our focus remains on getting people who are aged over 70 vaccinated.
While the Sydney outbreak continues to worry all leaders, the Prime Minister and Premiers today agreed on a few things that give us a glimpse of the future under COVID. South Australia will run a trial of home quarantine for fully vaccinated returnees from low-risk countries. And from next Friday, anyone entering Australia will have to declare their vaccine status. But back at Port Melbourne's Prince Alfred, they're finding an alternative for free beers.
We think it might be something along the lines of a half-price palm.
That's certainly worthy of a second shot. Andrew Probyn, ABC News, Canberra.
The Prime Minister says the early arrival of those Pfizer shots is quite a ramp-up of Australia's rollout. Here's ABC analyst Casey Briggs.
Every piece of data we're seeing in New South Wales at the moment is currently trending in the wrong direction. The curve, which had flattened for a few days when cases started to subside in Sydney's eastern suburbs, is growing again now that cases are primarily being found in the west of the city. Of course, we wouldn't be in this situation with this lockdown if our national vaccination rate was quite a bit higher. Today, about 10% of Australians over 16 are fully vaccinated. About 32% of people have had a first dose. And the smaller states and territories, Tasmania, the ACT and Northern Territory, have made far more progress with vaccinating their populations so far than the larger states. Victoria, of course, had a bit of a boost as well with the thanks of that extra Pfizer allocation from the federal government during their last outbreak. New South Wales is right down near the bottom with Western Australia. Now, the bringing forward of doses from Pfizer on the delivery schedule means that what we're going to have in August is about 1.5 million more doses than we had planned for. And that's great. That means a whole lot more people can get vaccinated sooner than they otherwise would have been able to. But it's still only a fraction of the total number of doses that we're going to need of Pfizer. So it's not going to make a huge difference to the pace at which Australia can move into the next phase of this pandemic. But it is worth mentioning just how many doses Australia currently has available in fridges that are not yet being used. Presumably most of these are AstraZeneca doses. At the last federal government update, there were more than 3 million doses available for use that hadn't yet been administered. And that 3.1 million, that's more than enough doses to fully vaccinate every unvaccinated person over the age of 70, more than a quarter of whom are yet to get even a single dose.